So I helped an e-commerce brand make £400,000 in 30 days, and I'm going to do a breakdown so you understand how this was possible and also the 3 core strategies you can steal. But first, I'm going to show you that this is legit. So as you will see, we spent £30,000 to make back £400,000. And the only reason this was possible is because of these 3 core strategies that I'm about to share with you. So stick along with me and you might learn something. If you're a new e-com brand owner to make money for yourself, and if you're an existing e-com brand owner, this is something you can immediately apply to also see a lift in how much money you make. I want you to understand that we took a hair care brand from average sales to £400,000 in revenue in just 30 days, right? And this isn't any magic. There's no viral flukes, just a deep understanding of what makes people buy. And you're going to learn how to apply these strategies to your own business for explosive growth. There are 3 strategies that made this possible. One is the emotional transformation. You see, we switched the creatives from just talking about what the product had to offer to focusing more on the emotional transformation that this product was delivering to everyone who ended up buying. And I'm going to make you understand something, right? So the average person, when they want to buy something, they are motivated by pain 95% of the time, and by pleasure 3% of the time, and by logic only 2% of the time. Now, the biggest issue is most marketers focus on this. They focus on logic. Most marketers, like literally 95% of marketers, appeal to this. But you're competing for a very, very small amount of people who will end up buying. Whereas the smartest people focus on this, pain. Because people will make most decisions of their life about how to get out of their current struggle and get into their desired state, and only then can you connect with them. So what we did was, how can we leverage the emotional transformation that our product is delivering to people? So instead of saying, hey, we can help you grow your hair, we shifted to, you're struggling with hair loss, you're struggling with this, and it is costing you this, right? So the average person, the average guy, for example, will go to Turkey for airline adjustments, and it's going to spend a lot of money and it's going to spend a lot of time. So we decided to position ourselves as something that can help you avoid that pain and still deliver the results that you want to you. And then the next thing is we introduced a shock intrigue factor to create instant buyer interest. Now, the average consumer cycle requires 7 touch points, right? They want to see you on socials, then opt in for your emails, right? And then end up buying, right? And you need to have at least 7 touch points with them for them to feel like they do know you. Now, in this instance, we wanted to shorten this cycle, and that is direct response marketing. So what we do is, how can we make sure that we get an immediate response from the person that we're selling to? And what we did was use shock and intrigue. Now, if you watch for a longer period of time, I'm going to explain to you how we were able to do this. But this is something that you can instantly leverage when it comes to your brand. You can look at it that, what do we sell right now that our ideal customer would go, oh shit, what is that? If you had a skincare brand, for example, instead of just telling someone, hey, come buy my product so you can feel rejuvenated or so you can feel revitalized, how about you show them in your videos or with your static images someone who was dealing with psoriasis, which is dry or itchy skin, and the redness of their skin and what that felt like and how unbearable that felt like, and then how you were able to help them. So the before and the after. So you make something very, very jarring to them. It makes them pay attention, right? And now the third thing that we did, I'm still going to explain down the line how we did this, but the third thing that we did is we optimized the landing pages and email flows for maximum conversion. Now, the issue with most people is your ads. So I teach members of my community e-com accelerator or something, right? 3 things, right? The landing pages, your ads, and your creatives, right? Now, I want you to think of all of this like 3 things that are important in the car, right? 1, you need what? You need a driver, you need the engine of the car, and then you need the brakes to function. If the brakes don't function and the engine functions, you will lead to a crash, right? If the engine doesn't function, the brakes function, and the driver is present, this experience will be terrible, right? And if the driver is not present, the engine is present, the brakes are present, the car won't move, right? So you need all these three things to function properly, right? Now, in this instance, most people make a big mistake, right? Their creatives do not get people to pay attention. Like if your creatives are your images and your videos, if they don't get people to pause, they are not going to pay attention. Now, if your creatives do a good job, then you turn them into ads, right? Now, your ads has just one job whatsoever. It is to get the clicks. So when you get the clicks, that's when people will go ahead and they visit your landing page. Now, in this instance, your landing page is the driver. Your landing page is what drives the sales, right? It's what makes sure that people buy. Now, if all of these three things are not congruent, then people are not going to buy. So what we did was we optimized in such a way that the landing page was great. We also made sure that the ads that we were running was great, and then our creatives that we were using was great. The first thing, as I said, the creatives has to focus on emotional transformation. Before, they were focusing on product features and ingredients, but once we came on board, we focused on selling the outcomes, the emotions, and identity shifts, right? If someone doesn't identify as something, they do not take any drastic change. And we do know that, obviously, the biggest thing that people hate the most is change, right? So we took it from, hey, you do not want to. So what identity do they have before? They were bald, had thinning edges, right? And then they were stressed. So what we did was change this identity, the label that they had, to the feeling of excitement, full head of air, whichever way you put it, more volume, and confident. So for you, you have to think about what is the most dominant in the emotions you want to trigger in your desired customer, and that's what you're going to lean into, and every other thing will just back it up. So the first thing we did was we changed the creative. Now for you as a brand, you have to look at it from that perspective of how can I input this for what it is that I sell, and only when you do that are you going to be able to get the first thing. But do not forget that that's only one out of many things. Now let's dive deeper into it, right? Now, when it comes to the shock factor that creates instant buyer interest, there are three phases, right? The initial phase is the discovery. So we discovered that, obviously we sell hair care products, and we discovered that someone bought our product, one of our customers bought the product and used it for a dog. A dog was losing fur, and even used the product for a dog, and the fur was growing back. Now, that was where we discovered, and we're like, oh shit, if someone could use our hair care products for their dog, and the dog could grow their, hair back, how much more humans? So obviously it's going to work with humans, right? And then we turned that into our creative. We decided that, okay, fine, we might as well leverage this in our marketing. And so we implemented that, and it led into one of our highest performing campaigns ever. And the results, we doubled the conversions. We might as well ask for more UGC feedback from our customers and use that in our campaigns. And that was how we discovered this. And that leads into the third strategy that you must understand. You have to optimize everything. You have to optimize everything if you want to drive sales, right? The landing page, most things that people do is, so for example, I'm just going to use this. So let's say you sell luxury items, right? Maybe you sell something for at least $1,000, right? And you've already gotten the click, you've gotten people to come onto the website. You cannot use anything on your website says you're providing a discount. Framing and phrasing determines how you're perceived. Framing and phrasing, maybe I should put that here on a different page. Phrasing, P-H-R-A-S-I-N-G, and framing is how you are viewed. It's what determines how you're viewed. Phrasing is what leads to how you frame the conversation, right? So when you say 30% off, you just lost the frame. Now you're viewed as cheap. But if it is phrased as you get $300 store credit on your next purchase, suddenly you're going to pay more attention because you're like, oh shit, I get $300 on my next store credit, which makes you come around to want to buy again. It's the same thing because 30% of $1,000 is $300. But the difference is now this makes them want to come back to buy from you versus this, which just makes you seem cheap. Now, your emails. Most times, if you do not put the right email sequence in place, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So we restructured the cart abandonment emails, added last chance series, and what happened? We got a 30% increase in landing page conversion and 18% recovery of lost sales. And this led to £400,000 in sales. How can you apply this to your brand? One, you must leverage emotional storytelling. Now, I always say story selling, right? You have to learn how to sell with a story. You have to switch to ads using real customer experiences and transformations. Because if you can make people, nobody wants to feel like they're a lab rat, right? Nobody wants to feel like they're a lab rat. So if you can incentivize your customers to give you their content in exchange for store credits against their next purchase, it does two things for you. It increases your CLTV, which is, I mean, for a business owner, you already know what this is, but lifetime value of your customer, right? It increases your customer lifetime value, which is how much your customers will end up spending with you, and reduces CPA, which is cost per acquisition. Because if you spend, let's say you spend $40 to acquire a customer, but this customer spends $1,000 with you within 3 months, are you negative or profiting? You're profiting. But if you spend $40 and this customer only spends $70 with you, that's a one-night stand. Cost of products, operational expenses, and your ads, you're negative. So this is why most brands don't scale. And this is one of the things that I teach members of my private mastermind and also e-commerce accelerator. Now, the shock or intriguing angle, how do you leverage that? You need to find unexpected ways people use your products to grab attention. There is any product that sells right now, I can assure you, there is always an unexpected way that you can leverage that will grab people's attention. And the last thing, optimize your website emails. Ensure landing pages and email flows match your messaging when it comes to your ads. Even when it comes to your content, like if people click on if people were to see your content on socials and they go on your website, everything has to be congruent, right? So this is a recap of how these 3 strategies made £400,000 in 30 days. First, focused on transformation creatives. They shifted from product focused to transformation focused ads. And the second thing is we leveraged the shock factor, use unexpected stories to drive massive engagements. And lastly, congruent messaging. So we used aligned landing pages and email flows with the ad messaging, right? So you can now go ahead and apply these strategies to grow your e-commerce brand faster than you think. And if you still want to learn how to build successful e-commerce brands, or you already have a successful brand and you want to scale to the next level, you could apply to learn from me either by being a part of my e-commerce accelerator, or you could be a private client of mine where I come in and consult you on how to scale your brand, or you could come for VIP days here in Dubai. I'll gladly host you for that when you're ready. Or you could just shoot me a DM on Instagram at the Abdul-Qawiyy and say private. When you say that, I'll personally respond to you. I'll see you in the next video, but go check out this video where I explained what it takes to build a multi-million-dollar e-commerce brand.